Hi, my name is Phil Hartmann, and welcome to PH Fabrication. Hi, my name is Phil Hartmann with PH Fabrication and Horton Race Cars. Wanted to give you guys another weekly shop update. So this week, it's been a pretty busy week. We got a few new cars in the shop. On the Land Speed car this week, we were able to finish up the drive shaft loop is in and welded in solid. And you can also see we got the motor taken out of the car. Now, a few reasons we took the motor out. One is we got to do some work on the motor plate or the mid plate. Another thing is it gives us more room to get in there, make the fuel tank, and along with finishing up the rear bulkhead. On the rear bulkhead, we were able to get our plates welded in for our Zeus fasteners. Our fuel tank will actually fit right behind the driver in this section, so this allows us easy access to get in there. Over here on the motor plate, so on the mill we're going to add two 3-inch holes, and these holes are for the customer to be able to run lines and wires from the front to the back of the car. Also, we're going to machine in a starter pocket for the starter to fit up with the diesel motor. Also on the corners, we have to do a little bit of beveling and chamfering to, one, to get rid of the sharp edge, and two, to clear some welds that we have on the chassis. Once that's done, the motor plate can go back in along with the motor, and we'll be real close to getting this car on the ground. Another unique project we got in the shop is an older Top Fuel car, but it's actually going to be ran as a A-Fuel car, the NHRA series. This car has got a kind of unique story, at least for me it does. The car, when I first moved down to South Carolina, I worked for Rhonda Hartman Smith and John Smith along with Virgil Hartman. No relation to me by any means, but they are pretty much like family. They're the ones that got me into drag racing. This car is actually going to be built for Megan Smith, Rhonda and John's daughter. So it's kind of a unique piece to have in the shop, because not only did I get to work on her mom and dad's cars, but I get to also work on their daughter's car. Along with that, a lot of you know, and some may not know, that the shop here is Richard Hartmann, is who I used to work for before I owned PH Fabrication. So it's kind of been a family affair, even though I'm not related. So I'm really looking forward to seeing this car done and see him on the racetrack working. But a few things we got to do on this car is, one, they brought us the car to basically put it together, not complete, but just check over the chassis, making sure all our Zeus tabs fit, our hardware is right, and making sure it's safe for Megan to drive. So also one thing they wanted to do was add a taller windshield. So you can see the stock windshield that came with the body back when it was originally put together. And we've got ourselves a new 5-star windshield, which makes it about 12 inches tall, and it'll get fitted into the cowling, and everything will get scalloped out to make it a little bit more lightweight, also a little bit easier for the driver to get in and out. Under NHRA rules, we have to have an 18-inch opening for the driver to get in and out, so we'll also make sure that's legal for her on the car. On the front half, you can see the body starting to go on. All we're doing is getting the body on to make sure the Zeus springs are tight, make sure all the Zeus fasteners are there, and that way we can give them a complete car when they pick it up. Up here in the driver's compartment, we've been busy getting the fuel shutoff levers along with the parachute levers put in place. A lot of the new safety stuff that is required are these air cylinders, and this will automatically shut the fuel along with pulling the parachute if the driver ever got into trouble. There is sensors on the track that once they go past the finish line, it'll automatically pull the parachutes, shut the fuel off, and it will shut the ignition off. So if something happened to the driver where they were unconscious, it would automatically shut off for them. So we're getting all the safety stuff put on the car. So along with this being an older car, and it's not being old meaning like it's out of date, but being that it wouldn't fit NHRA Top Fuel spec right now, it didn't have the titanium head shield that it needs. So we added a titanium head shield for the driver, along with the ISP helmet pads that weren't required back when this thing was ran in top fuel. So those are some big safety upgrades that are being done, all to protect the driver. Also on the back, behind the driver's seat, this has always been an open area where something could get to the driver. So we also are mandated to put a 1/8" piece of aluminum behind the driver to protect the driver's back, since the only thing that would be protecting it is the carbon fiber seat. So in the back half of this car, we haven't had to do a whole lot. Basically adding some hardware, a few clamps here and there that were either needed repair, or the biggest thing we're gonna have to do on the back half is gonna check the rear wing and the rear wing stand. We've gotta make sure it's legal. So when the car is on the ground, we can't be above 90 inches tall on the rear wing element, and we can't be leaned back any farther than 50 inches from the center line of the rear end. And all we're just doing is just making sure they're legal, so that way when they do go to an NHRA event, everything is good to go. So another project that we also finished this week is over here in the other bay. We don't only do race cars. Every now and then you get the occasional street car slash shop truck for another shop that you work with time and time. So this shop truck belongs to Thunder Bunny Racing. Now he put in the C notches in the chassis for himself at his shop, but he wanted us to weld them up. So we welded in the C notches for him. We also moved his trailer hitch to fit behind his license plate, and that way he can hide everything. And when he lowered the truck, everything's going to be a little bit higher. We're trying to convince him into letting us 4-link this thing and actually put a decent motor in it, but he hasn't gone there yet. So we're not only just a race car shop, we also do some regular street cars and shop trucks. I hope you're all having a great weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon.